Hey guys, welcome back to another broadcast of The Weekly with me, Neff. This article once again comes from World of Real. It is written by Jordan Rumi. Pretty cool article. Rumor, Christopher Nolan's next film set for July 17th, 2026 release. The X account Empire City, which is run by a person with past studio history on the exhibition side, has dropped a rumor that I just can't ignore. They are saying to look for an announcement in the next few weeks about Christopher Nolan's next film set for release on July 17th, 2026. There's currently a bidding war going on for Nolan's latest project, and it comes down to three studios: Universal, Warner Brothers, and Paramount. Side note, guys, before I continue, if anybody has paid attention to Christopher Nolan's films, you will know that he has a good relationship with Warner Brothers. So if he gets to deal with them, that makes a lot of sense. Let me keep reading. Back in March, Puck's Matt Bellany reported that Nolan began writing his next film. Obviously, no plot details were revealed. As with all Nolans, it'll most likely be kept hush-hush until the very end. Actors will have to read their script in a quiet room, etc. The post-Dark Knight phase of Nolan's filmography has consisted of going back and forth between historical drama and sci-fi: 2014's Interstellar, 2017's Dunkirk, 2020's Tenet, and 2023's Oppenheimer. Notice how there's a 3-year gap in between each film. We might indeed be getting this one in 2026. Now, I'm going to kind of skip around in this article because they focus a lot on Oppenheimer, but I'm going to go into what the rumor of the next film really is. However, one particular project has been heavily rumored as being Nolan's next film. Earlier in the year, Variety had heard murmurs Nolan's long-gestating remake of the mystery thriller The Prisoner, based on the 1960s TV series, was up next for him. This is a quote. In 2006, Nolan had been tipped to write and direct the film adaptation of the TV series. He couldn't quite crack the adaptation, he said, and eventually left the project in 2009. Keep reading here. In November 2023, Nolan revealed his frustration at not being able to finish the script for The Prisoner. So I'll give you guys a little more insight on The Prisoner. So The Prisoner is a pretty famous UK sci-fi TV series. It follows an agent who resigns from his job, but he gets kidnapped and he's taken to a mysterious seaside village full of captives, and he's in consistent surveillance. So it's a pretty cool story. I think it's something that I would really like Christopher Nolan to do, because I believe he can apply his vision to an older series and then bring it to the modern audience in a good way, of course, because Christopher Nolan's one of the better directors that we have right now. I think it'd be very interesting to see him be able to do that, specifically since the show is from the 1960s and it's UK based. So it's not something that Americans really know that well. And, I think Christopher Nolan is due for that sci-fi flick, like the article points out, and that is very true. Christopher Nolan, for the most part, has been going from sci-fi to extremely grounded, in a sense, historical or biopic style films in between each other. And he had Tenet, like they said, in 2020, also a pretty good film. And then he had Oppenheimer right after that. And Oppenheimer has done very well. Obviously, 9X at the box office made $900 million, and he got his first Academy Award off that film. So I think with this next film, Christopher Nolan is going to go back into that sci-fi mind-bending bag that he always gets into every couple years, like the article does state. I'm really interested to see what he does next. As the article states, all this is rumor as of the moment. You're not going to hear too much about a Christopher Nolan film until about, I want to say, 12 months before it is going to release. I think this is going to be held under wraps, like the article did state. July 17th, 2026 sounds like a decent release date. I think Christopher Nolan has really been targeting that summertime slate as far as putting out movies, obviously, because like I just said, it's summertime. People are out and about. People do want to hang out with the family more. People want to take the family out to movies and do things like that. And when it's a Christopher Nolan film, you got to go check that thing out. I do need to watch Oppenheimer still, but some of my favorite Nolan films: Interstellar, obviously the Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, and Tenet, which came out in 2020, actually during the pandemic, one of the biggest movies to come out during the pandemic. I'm very interested to see what happens. Like I said, if I hear anything else about what Christopher Nolan's got going on, specifically with the new script, the new movie, any trailers, any information that I get, of course, I'll be passing that on to you guys. I'm excited for it myself, so you guys will definitely hear about it. But other than that, we're just going to have to wait and see what Christopher Nolan's next film is. Number one, I want you guys to comment down below. I want to know if you're excited for Christopher Nolan's next film. I want you to let me know what you think about the direction that Christopher Nolan's going to go in. Do you think he does another historical piece and kind of breaks the pattern? Or do you think he goes into a sci-fi psychological thriller piece like we think is going to happen? As far as when I say we, I mean me and the article writer. So yeah, with that being said, guys, like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, share with a friend, and as always, be safe.